Hey everybody, welcome to the VO Dojo 21 questions. I'm Tish Hicks. I'm the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo here in Burbank, California, and I'm super excited and honored and pleased and delighted to welcome my dear friend and colleague Jay Preston here for 21 questions and later for Ask the Sensei. Um, Jay, we go
Hi.
way back. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you ready for some questions?
Hit me up with some questions.
Okay, awesome. So we like to start this thing with what we call a one-word check-in. So if you had to distill the essence of this moment in your life into one word, what would your one-word check-in be today?
This moment right now, one word, happy hour. Is that what?
That's the German word. Yeah. Where are you from originally?
I am from Boston originally, 30 minutes south of Boston. People in Massachusetts are always like, oh, Boston, where? But 30 minutes south of Boston, a little town called Norton. And
Hmm.
that is where I'm from.
Yeah. And where do you live now?
And now I live in Sunny Valley Village, California.
Yay.
Yeah, moved out here in 2007, I think.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Where would we know your voice from?
You know, probably this or that. There isn't really a thing where it's like that's the voice because I do a lot of different ones. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
this year, however, I'm proud to announce that now you'll hear me as the lefty from Hamburger Helper. Um,
That's you're a mascot. I have a student who's like, I want to be a mascot.
I've
That's
wanted
you.
to do something like that forever. The end of last year, I booked it. It was an amazing experience and callback and all that stuff. And it's probably the biggest, well, it's one of the biggest things so far. So I'm very
That's
excited
cool.
about that. So yeah, but I've done hundreds of commercials, if not 500s of commercials and video games. Anyone who plays League of Legends, I'm Maokai. I always say
Hmm.
my own name wrong in that. I've been in a lot of Insomniac games lately, which has been great.
Hmm.
I'm the Scottish Hunter in the latest Spider-Man 2. So if you
Oh,
see
cool.
a Scotsman trying to hunt down Spider-Man, that'll be me.
That's fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Now you said you moved in 2007. How long have you been doing voiceover?
Um, I was trying to think right before this. I was like, how long exactly? Because I came out here for the on-camera business. I got into the Pirates of the Caribbean 3 as one of Keith Richards' pirates, and I was that, and I
Hmm.
was just doing the on-camera thing for years. And then at about the 5-year mark, I ended up getting a little jaded about LA. Really wasn't the first time I got here. I was like, this is what LA is like. I'm on this thing, and I'm in this TV show. And then it really wasn't like that constantly. Uh,
Hmm.
so then, but I found this in my little booth. I always keep little things in my booth. This is my first
Uh-huh.
big thing I booked, and it was at WB Studios for a video game. And this is like the first video game thing I booked. It was the first time I was on WB lot, and this says 2016,
2016.
which means for 3 years prior to that, I was trying to do anything. So I was so 2013 is when nope. No, that's not what this means. 2011 to 9, 2009. That's when I started.
2009. There we go. Excellent. We hone in on the origin
Yeah,
story. But I think that's
took a
that's
long time to
really
get to that game. Jeez.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that's one of the reasons that we also like to share this with like everybody's got an origin story. We start somewhere. We
Yeah.
start somewhere and it takes us the time. So
Um,
yeah. Love that VO math. That's like oh that's good. Um yeah, who's your current team? And I'll let you define team as you will. It could be a representation, but
Yeah, I've been a proponent of I'm a big proponent of like having a big team and a lot of opportunities because it's a big old world. And some of the stuff that over the years I've booked that have been really big. I mean, not that my LA agent hasn't booked me amazing big stuff, but some of the other stuff that's just out of the blue has come from some regional agents and some my team around the country. So let me tell you, my team. I
yeah.
Fox in LA. I
Hmm.
have DDO in New York and Chicago. I've got Go Voices in Colorado, In Both Ears in Oregon, PB Talent in Texas, and JE Talent in San Francisco. And I also have the Talent Group in Pittsburgh in Ohio.
Yeah, all the agents. That's fantastic.
Yep.
That's powerful. That's powerful. That's a lot of people on your that are working with you and for you. So,
Yeah, yeah, and the goal is to you book as often as you can with as many of them as you can, and don't keep them, So it's good because it's gotten me out of the pay to play world. Many
hmm.
years ago, I got out of that world because I've had too many auditions. I don't have enough to do pay to play. So that was my goal, right? I wanted
Hmm.
to just have agency auditions and go at it that way, plus my own marketing and stuff that I do on the side. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. What's your current setup? I see your booth. It looks kind of personalized.
My little my booth, my area.
Oh, you know what? Before we talk about that, I see that your name on your Zoom is the Booth of Us, and I would say that's kind of part of your team as well, yeah, in terms
It's
of.
me and my wife. We fell in love over puns and things like that, and she is the pun queen. And so it's like when she was only on camera when we met, and then she was working like four or five other jobs at the same time and doing her on camera career and I was always in the booth and she always made fun of me. It's like you just walk in there and say the most random shit and then at one point I kept going to where she was working and waiting for her to get off work, and then we'd go to dinner, and that just got. I was like, she's too talented. I was like, just get in the booth. So every time an agent sent me something that said male or female, I would have her read and send it to my agents and say, only if you want to send it in, no worries. And I shit you not, every one of them signed her. And it wasn't like I didn't say like, hey, she's looking. She was like, wait,
Mm.
can we just bring her on? Because she's great at the, and then she started booking. Now she makes more than me. And she quit, she quit her other side jobs, I think 6 months after we got together. So
Wow,
she's
that's
my
huge.
claim to fame of like, if I could coach someone perfectly into getting into the business who already had natural talent, I did it.
Yeah, I did
Doesn't
it.
take any of my
Your very
direction.
own Pygmalion. Your voiceover Pygmalion. Yeah, and you guys work together a lot. You present yourself as a team.
Yeah,
You,
because it worked so well with our agents that I started to do with my clients, and I was like,
mhm,
also if you need a female voice, and then she started to get her own clients, and then it went vice versa, and people love
mhm,
the little Booth of Us cartoon with Miranda Parkin did all of our artwork,
mhm,
and she's amazing. So people do like it, and we send out the little newsletters, and every now and then you get to the thing you're like, is it too like cheesy? But then you get like an email that comes in saying that, oh, we just loved it. We thought of you guys right away for this thing. It's
mhm,
like, so we're keeping it because it's working really well. And we got to do a lot of really fun projects together. Um,
mhm.
and some of them right in this booth. It's not very big, but they're out there. So
Yeah, yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's really important. Um, yeah, and I was just saying one of the things that I love about you as a human and you as a voiceover artist is that my experience of you is that you've always made it come like be on your terms,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not like on my terms, but like, hey, this is the life I want to lead. This is how I'm going to roll with it, and I'll do what I need to do, and I'm going to form it into what I want it to be. I just think it's a brilliant. brilliant superpower of yours, which is
It's
super
it,
cool.
not everyone can do stuff like that because it's very stressful. I didn't have all these white hairs in my beard. Yeah, every stressful week, there's another five of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you were talking about your booth. So what is your booth setup? What is one of the other things that I like to, dispel is you don't have to have the fanciest booth, or you might have the fanciest booth. Like everybody's got their own thing that works for them. So what's your setup like?
This is a very small walk-in closet, and this is half
Mm-hmm.
of it. And all my clothes are over here. But I come in and it's got a nice deep thing. So I have a big TV that's right here that is connected to my computer out there.
Mm-hmm.
So when Meg's in here, I usually engineer out there with for her.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the monitor. I've got our Soyuz FET 017. I love this little guy. Um, so that's the mic, and that goes into Apollo MK2. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that just works as the interface because the preamp is actually a John Hardy M1. Um, and so that's the whole setup. I use a Mac and Adobe Audition to record. Um, and I have a lot of different microphones. My very
Mm-hmm.
first mic ever was, I think, a Yeti. Um,
Uh-huh. Good to know. Good to know.
uh,
Also reassuring.
and then my big boy mic was a TLM 103, and I used that for, if not a decade, before someone
Mm-hmm.
was like, I think somebody was like, "You need to get an MK16, yeah, Sennheiser." So I had one of those, and I used that for a long time. And then I just really wanted a big boy mic at one point, and then
Mm-hmm.
this like limited edition Soyuz came out in brass black, and I was like, "I'm gonna do it."
It's
I
like
think
getting
I'm
yourself a fancy car.
Yeah, so I kind of got myself a fancy, and so one thing about the both of us is that I've had to have a microphone that fits my voice and timbre and stuff and hers, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So um, we have found that this works really well. There's also the Roswell MK87, which I did a mic shootout with all of my high-end mics and stuff like that. And the Roswell is like if this is the higher end, it's right here, if not sometimes right there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
killer mic for under $400.
Oh
So
wow.
I switch that out a lot. It has a nice warmth to it. So it's like, for me and Meg, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds good. So I use that a lot too, recently.
Yeah. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. That's good journey and love the evolution of it as well. That's super important. Um, so we know you started in 2009 coming from the on camera, coming from the East Coast and then coming for the on camera world and then but what is your voiceover origin story? How did you get started?
Really by accident, because I was a stage.
Whoops.
Yeah, in New England, I was a stage actor, and I traveled the country for 2 years doing children's theater, and I have a big improv background. I did a lot of improv in New England, and I loved that. And then when I came to LA, it was like I was a big fish, little pond in Massachusetts.
Mm.
And so I came out when I booked Pirates of the Caribbean. I wasn't living here. I flew out for it. It was an incredible experience, and it was in one on one side it was like the most incredible thing, and then the other side it was like harsh reality that didn't let me. It's like it like tricked me. It like got me in, it like got me here, and then I moved, everything's here, and then it was like honesty of Hollywood catch 26. No, no, it's not like that all the time. So then I got jaded. So like 5, 6 years in, jaded, waiting tables, don't want to wait tables. I was actually waiting tables at the Tam O'Shanter in a Scottish accent where I pretended everyone when I got hired thought I was Scottish, and that was my longest acting job at the O'Shanter, pretending to be Scottish for everybody. And that is where I met um, a pickle flute player, um, and he was a sound engineer for Technicolor, and he took to me because I was Scottish, and he wanted to take me under his wing. He's like, "Oh, let me show you the studio and stuff." So he brought me to Technicolor, and that's where I got to like literally see Rob Paulson work for the first and
Wow.
that changed it for me. I was like, what? This guy came in and sat down and did all these voices perfectly, and then he comes back, and then um they're telling me like, oh, he Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles. So then my child, all of a sudden, a legend appeared. I was watching this actor work,
Mm.
and then my childhood was flashing before me because he did the voices of everything I listened to growing up, and I was like, ah. And then I was starstruck. I went from being like chill to like, I, I, it's like super starstruck, and I was like, wow, did not see that coming. And so I got really into like wanting to do that. He introduced me to Yuri and Tara, because
Hmm.
Yuri and Tara would go and watch him play at the band, so I got to meet them. They thought I was from Scotland, um, and then they actually handed me their book, their first edition of their book, and I read through that 5 or 6 times in 3 years, just as a Bible, basically. Every time I would learn something in a class, and I'd go read the book and pick up on some new things. So um, I and at some point I took them like a year in, and I was like, because I really liked them and they were such great friends, and I said, I am not from Scotland, and I need you to know that I am from Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm so sorry I've been lying to you this whole time, but um anyways, we're still friends. Coolest thing is though, like as a Scotsman now, all these years later, I got to hunt Spider. He wasn't Spider-Man when I first met him either, and so he's Spider-Man, and I'm hunting him as a
Oh,
pet,
right,
and
right,
it's like
right.
a perfect
Yeah.
full circle in my life. But I digress. It was an accident, and I was at a bar with the girlfriend at the time, and she was flirting with somebody else in the bar. He brings that guy over, and that guy happened to be the nephew of Mary Ellen Lord, SPV. And I didn't know what SPV meant either. I didn't know anything. And so like, oh yeah, she's looking for new talent. So I email her. She's like, oh, come on in. I go to Wilshire in this huge thing, and I'm like, oh, and I started to realize like I'm in a big agency building, and like it was in over my head. But then I get all this copy, and I start going through the copy, and I was having a blast, like doing animation, promo. I thought I was killing it too, and I was like, they're gonna sign me. So I go to, and they go, you're a great actor, you're awful at voiceover. I need you to take some workshops and classes. And I was like, oh, but the fire was back, like the acting fire. And so like I literally did anything and everything Mary Ellen told me to do. She said, go take a class at Calmanton and Calmanton. I went and did it. She said, go meet you. She said, go to the VO dojo. I did it. She said, go meet Bill Holmes. I did it. And I just kept go meet the voice caster. I took workshops with the voice caster. I just kept going everywhere. And it took me 3 years to like become good at voiceover. Take my
Mhm.
acting background and turn it into in front of a microphone. But
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's such an amazing story. And that's kind of really both things. Like you have to be open to what the universe is bringing, because clearly that that other woman was not the right person, and then the opportunity like came to you, and you have to be ready for the opportunity.
yeah, and they didn't sign me. Obviously, I wasn't ready, and but she said my door's open again if you ever want to come back and audition again. And I did not audition again for them for another 3 years because I just never felt ready. Because then I learned where SPV was, and I was
Right,
like,
right, right.
I need to be really good, and I can't go back because the door was left open.
Yeah.
I didn't want to walk through and screw it up. So when I
Hmm.
walked through 3 years later, they they actually, fun fact is that they didn't sign me that time either, but they said we just have too many people in your voice print at the moment, but you're ready for an agent, go find one. So then I did. I got an agent, and 3 months later I got a demo done from Chuck Duran, and I just sent it to Mary Ellen. She goes, actually, could you come back in? And that demo got me back in the door for the third time, and then they signed me.
Wow. Yeah. Stay on the trail. Stay on the trail. Um, that's amazing. And in addition to studying and meeting people and sorry, I'm choking to death. Hold on one second. I'm gonna.
Live, live.
So, what in addition to doing all the training and meeting people. What else did you do during that 3 years that made the difference that you knew you were ready?
Um, I kept networking, and I'm horrible. I was horrible at it, so I just started a Facebook group called the Voiceover Collective. And I started that probably a month or two before the time I took your one of your classes where I met Tim Freelander. So I had just started it, and it was because I was horrible at remembering people's names, like really good at faces, but could not remember a name for the life of me. So I put everyone in a group that I liked. When I went into class, I did a workshop, and then I was like, oh, that person's really talented. I want to follow along this person and do what they do, and so I would kind of seek out people better than me and continually like befriend them and like just be like, hey, do you want to join this little group? And then we can share like tricks and tips as we're getting better. And so that's kind of how it started. And it was like 10 people, 15, 20. Um, and then it became crazy. But doing that kind of gave me the confidence to like walk into a room or a studio or a place and people, and at one point it got to a point where no matter where I walked in, someone was from the collective. So it was like
Hmm.
it made it easier for me to like deal with LA, because then and then people would be like, oh, this workshop's going on or this was going on, and so like we would just keep in touch that way. And so I did that, and then it kind of helped me build my confidence of like I'd get in the class, and then I started to feel as good as most of the people in the class, rather than like behind. And so
Hmm.
I kept kind of chasing the class with the better person than me. And so wherever I could find that workshop so that's how I knew I was like improving, because then
Hmm.
you get to a workshop and then you'd feel like you were the best one in the class, which is like makes it sound like up, but you got to kind of be that way. You got to like kind of know where you're at. And
Hmm.
so when every workshop was, it was like I was at the top, or there was a little, one person above me. I was like, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready because I'm not learning as much as I once was at workshops. I was like soaking things in like a sponge at one point, and then I felt like I was just not learning anything anymore, um,
Right.
and that's when
Right.
I switched from workshops, classes, and stuff like that to just like coaches, because
Hmm.
then after all those workshops, I learned who I wanted, to reach out to for like this and that. Like Elaine Craig was one I always would go to Elaine Craig and be like, just a little commercial coaching, just because she's really good at
Hmm.
getting you out of your head. And Marilyn Wisner gave me some like incredible moments of like aha that I took with me. So things like that.
Yeah, yeah. And say a little bit more, because the working with working pros who are better than you, that are challenging and inspiring you, is the whole idea of the VO Dojo Pro Fight Club. And that was, you came and started rocking it, and that's where you met Tim Friedlander of and then Gardner Street came out of that, and now Tim's saving the world, not
Oh,
saving the
yeah.
world, but making the world a much better place for all of us with Nava and Soundbox. And yeah, but talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Um,
just clicked right away, and I liked his vibe. He liked my vibe, and I had the collective, and he had Gardner Street at the time as well. And so he was running like little friendly workshops out of his place and for
mhm,
free. So we would do that, and then at some point, where was he? I can't remember now. He knows better. But at one point we started to do workshops pretty much keep Tim alive on, because he wouldn't have a lot of income at the time. And I was like, well, I have a whole bunch of people who want to learn. You got a place in a studio. Let's do
mhm,
workshops, and they'll be super cheap, and people can come, and then you can make your rent. Um, and that's what we did for like 6 or a year. I think there's still workshops are going on, but then through that, we just started to like use the Voiceover Collective as like a guiding light, and then some this pay to play site thing happened with the voice bank, and then the VO
mhm,
weekly workout was no more, and that was a place where I got agents out of it. I got so much better out of it, $10 a week.
mhm,
So then me, Tim, and Brad Venable immediately started the VO weekly workout and put it back on the planet. And
Hmm.
just for the because it was so useful to us, so we were like, this needs to exist. It's a
Hmm.
gem. So we did that, and then I started to make the website for the Voiceover Collective, and because the website was so intricate and like there's so much stuff on there, um, as the years went by, that's how I got to start the take over the Vorg as creative director, because
Hmm.
the guy who took over the Vorg from where it was needed someone to take it to the next level, and they found the Voiceover Collective website and then reached out to me. And then I said to Tim, Tim, can we do this? He's like, yes, we can do this. So me and Tim.
Yeah. Yeah. The voiceover resource guide, right? Yeah. Which is another just stalwart tradition. That's really powerful that you guys have like just taken the initiative, go like, this is a good thing. We can do this. This is a good thing. We can do this. It's
Thing kind
really.
of led to the other thing, and then Nava is, I mean, everything we did ended up creating these things and pathways.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Now it's all bringing out all of us together and empowering everybody all along the way. It's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's how things begin. That's what I love. I'm so excited to have you here because it's so powerful.
Yep.
It's so powerful and long lasting. Um, let's see. What were the three top ingredients in your success? Or what do you look at the three top ingredients?
Friendliness, I guess, would be one big ingredient. Just staying friendly and being friendly, and that's one. Thinking outside the box is the other.
Hmm.
I would go to workshops about marketing, right? And then I would notice they're teaching a class of 100 people the same thing. So what are those 100 people going to go do tomorrow? The same
Right.
thing. So I thought at the class I would take all the nuggets of stuff and think, how can I do it completely different with all the
Hmm.
information I just got? And that's kind of how I kept going with my career. Is like I would learn how everyone's marketing, and I would go do something different.
Mm.
And that's why,
Hmm.
the both of us exists. It's like I
Right.
want to do this like as a team, but there was a lot of voiceover teams, husband and wife. How do we do it different? Like we
Hmm.
or it different. So out of the box, and then the other one is just continually evolving. Well, like with because when I started, all I heard about was the announcer voice is leaving. But I started right while the announcer voice was still around a little, and so,
Hmm.
like I was learning some of that, and then I was booking with a couple of it, and then I got to the conversational thing, and now it's just, so like not staying stuck in your ways
Hmm.
kind of helps
Hmm.
me keep going. Like now we're all putting
Hmm.
ums and ahs and mouth noises in our auditions to book. It's
Right,
like
right, right.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I remember, I know, so both of us is your branding now. And when it was just you were well known for your hat, that everything, you never showed up anywhere without your hat, and everything on your branding had the hat, and it was really powerful and um, uniquely you. Like really, it was like, oh, that's Jay Preston, and so it became iconically Jay.
Yeah.
Um, so.
Yeah, and I still wear it all the time. I just haven't figured out how to do headphones and a hat yet. Um, I wear it all the time. But one of the whole reasons I started wearing it was because when I started, I had like hair down to here, and this was all red, and so I got in the booth at VOLA. What is it called then? Talk Shop. So
Uh-huh.
I got in the booth there, and they had a light that came down, and people started saying Jesus because my name is Jesus, and I looked just like Jesus with the light, and I was like, I can't. That's gonna be my thing. I can't have that hat on, and that stuck.
It was your anti-Jesus to not be confused with the Lord our Savior, right?
It was just too easy for people to go Jesus.
Right.
Why?
Hilarious.
Like,
That's
do it.
hilarious. Um, you mentioned the Warner Brothers, the video game. Um, the question is, what would you consider your big break, if there is such a thing? But where did you know? Where did you know? Um, like, okay, this is happening.
I booked a McDonald's campaign when I was with SBB, and that
Mhm,
was one of the ones where I was like, because it wasn't it wasn't a full on national, but it was like played in Canada and most of like the middle of the country, and it was such a great animated campaign. It was like three or four different commercials, and just that campaign alone got me agents. Like I would just show
mhm,
them a video of that thing, and that just brought in like three or four different agents, and so like I knew I had the voice that could be like a brand voice.
mhm,
And I've been chasing it ever since. Like, I've been small campaigns here and there, but it was like I definitely know I have a voice that could be like you hear it and then you know it's me, and so
mhm,
it's just been a
mhm.
matter of time for like the people to like. Yeah, it's a matter of time. You just got to keep auditioning, never stopping.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when I knew that was that. It took me forever to break into video games, and I'm still not fully broken into animation. Like it's like a little part here or there, but it's like ooh, it's so hard.
yeah. It's the evolution, it's the journey, and it
Yeah.
shifts, and you got to keep on the trail. Yeah. How long from starting VO to making your full-time living in VO?
3 years.
Three
Four,
years.
yeah, 4
Hmm.
years. Yeah. I just trained and trained and trained, and then I would be booking on pay to play sites, and
Hmm.
then my bookings would be here, and my waiting tables money would be here, and then my
Hmm.
VO money would be here, and waiting tables, and then all of a sudden my VO money was here, and I was like, I think I can do this. I'm quitting.
Hmm.
I quit with like
Hmm.
2,000 in the bank,
Yeah. Wow. That's brave and true. That's brave and true. But then you did it, right?
and
Because
then I did it, and I
you're not
just
going back, right?
haven't been back.
Yeah, I think I remember that celebration party. Like there was there was a big celebration party.
Oh, I
Yeah.
made it. Yeah, I was like, I quit.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you proudest of in your voiceover career?
I don't know. You mean like part or gig or something like that?
I don't know. But
I'm just proud that I'm able to like live happily with my wife and we both do the same thing and we get to act and um because we both like adventuring and traveling and living life, and I have found that by living life and going out and doing stuff,
mm,
better storyteller. We're both better storytellers, and you can find characters. So it's like the more we get to go and do what we like doing, go to wine country, or go hiking, and like the happier I am, happier we both are, and then the more we book. So it's like and it's keeping that alive. Like go
yeah.
out, do you, and live life just as much as you audition and work. It's like you. Some people, it's like this. They just
Mhm,
vacation and live a little, but they work most. And so like I
mhm.
learned if we could just keep it at a nice balance, like that's where life is. It's really sweet.
That is amazing. Yes, absolutely. That's something to truly be proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, inspiration. It's really good. What's your biggest fear or challenge in your voiceover career?
Um, it's always that little inner actor part of you that's like, am I good enough to be here?
Mhm. Still, that's
Still
crazy.
there
Yeah.
because it's like when Horizon Zero Dawn was in the auditioning stage, the last one, like I got called in and I got a call back for like two characters, and then I'm sitting at Vault 501 when it was there, in a red chair, and Matt Mercer. Actually, when I signed in, Yuri was there above me. He So I didn't see him, and I was like, oh, uh, And then Matt Mercer sat next to me, and I was like, I am literally, am I good? And I was like, I
Mhm,
am. Here they
mhm.
all are.
You
Um,
arrived, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and it's still there. Just gets you every now and then. It's like there's a thing coming out this year that's a huge thing in the animation world that for me, it's like the biggest thing for me. You know, it's a
Mhm.
small little thing for, but still, it's like when it comes out, is people like, are people gonna like it? Like,
Yeah.
am I good enough to do that part? I don't know how I got it, but so that's, you get over with some wine every night.
Another trademark. Another trademark. Yeah. Introvert or extrovert?
My wife and I, we are introverted extroverts.
Introverted extroverts.
We
Mm.
are literally both. We can appear as an extrovert, but deep down, we're both introverts, and give us
Mhm.
any reason to not go somewhere, which is what the pandemic did, and we won't go anywhere. We were
Yeah,
like, oh, man, I don't want to get sick. No, see you next year.
yeah. I think this business requires that you find the blend, right? It really requires if you are this, then you also have to be this. So you have to. So yeah, beautiful.
Our New Year's resolutions this year is to like go to dinner more with more people, see more people, make connections.
Friends, my friends, yes, yes, yes. Now this is a powerful question for coming to you because you do go and do things everywhere. But if you could do VO from anywhere, where would it be?
Um, from anywhere, a vineyard in Napa Valley.
Uh-huh. Awesome.
I would
Great, great,
love
great.
to just be at the vineyard and then just like hop on over and do some voiceover. Or
Fantastic. Good, good, good. That's exactly what that question's meant to do. So no, I'm seeing you there, and so it will be. What would you say your VO motto is?
um, BO motto. I saw that question on the thinger, and I was like, I don't know. I was hoping it would just come to me during these questions.
It'll come, it'll come. Make some shit up.
Um, Never give up is, I guess, a pretty good one.
Hmm.
Just never miss. I don't know. Let's see. It's a motto. It has to be a thing.
No, 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 that's fine. Never give up is good. That's that's a
Don't
motto. I mean, it doesn't have to have like a shield
miss
with.
your opportunity.
Oh, say that again.
Don't miss your opportunity.
Ah, and can you say more about that?
Because we work so hard and we train ourselves so hard and to get the opportunity, right? Like I want to be a brand voice of something, right?
Mhm,
And if even if I'm living life, doing my thing, if the audition comes in that I've been training for, I need to make that audition happen, right?
mhm,
So a lot of people will miss opportunities to like further their career so easily. But I don't. Me and my wife, we always have a Tula mic with us wherever we go places. Like she had a call back today for some. We were both at sessions in Marina Del Rey yesterday and taking advantage of the nice rainy day. So in between sessions, we were dropping off orgs and going to have lunch. And this audition came in, this rush audition, and we got we had to stop what we were doing, get in the car in the rain, and audition this thing. And she got a call back for it today. And it's
nice.
like, had we not done that, she wouldn't
Mm.
have had the opportunity to like, you know, and this big hamburger helper, I we were about to leave to go to Napa of all places, our like one of our honeymoons and not honeymoons, but like one of our big vacations. And we were just trying to get out of the house so we could go because we were going to drive up. And the callback came in. Well, I had to like jump in the booth, wait another, 30, 40 minutes in. And if I hadn't, I wouldn't have booked it.
Wow, yeah, that's great. That's a great thing to distill. Um, and two more questions. What's a typical VO day for you? How do you structure your day?
We have been waking up at like 5 a.m. these days, just so we can have like an hour to ourselves and coffee, and we go on a walk, and then we start the auditions. Um, One of our agents always sends stuff in like 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'll do 9 a.m. So like for a good year, that was like getting kind of annoying for us because it's like we kind of try to be done by 4 or 5. So we
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
decided rather than get annoyed, change things. So we wake up early. We're
Hmm.
refreshed by the time we start our auditions. We get them all in on time, um, and then we make sure we do the workout and get some lunch, and then we kind of do whatever comes in then, And so like hopefully we're trying to be done by like 4 every day.
Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
like have a life after that.
Right, right.
And I think that's been helping. I've had a lot of different like VO days over the years, and
Mm.
some were crazy, like I would do 50 auditions a day. Um, but I think now we're averaging together like 30, 35 a day, which is not bad, and it leaves room for the day. So you can,
Right, right, right.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much the day.
Yeah, powerful, powerful. And I remember talking with you as the journey was evolving, that you had a way to approach. You did a certain number of pay to plays when that was still part of your business model. You did a certain amount, and then always prioritize the agents, but did a certain amount as sort of warm ups,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you
then
remember that. I did, yeah.
yeah,
I did. I warmed up with pay to plays once I was transitioning out of them.
right,
In
right, right.
in the beginning, it was like all pay to, and then as I was getting agents, I would do my warm ups with pay to plays, and then I would go into my agency stuff and do
Mm.
the work, like dissect and do all the work with the auditions. Now we just do all the work and do it
Right.
that way. But we do change it up every now and then. It's like we'll do different methods sometimes. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. And last question. Knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself at the beginning of your career?
At the very beginning of my career, I would say go take marketing classes in college and be a marketing person
Mhm.
first. Like if I was to go backwards and do anything different, I would have majored in marketing and still been an actor because I was already good at acting. I just took forever to figure out this marketing thing. That's what I would do if I was to go way back. Um,
Mhm.
but other than that, if I was just to tell somebody something I wish I told myself would be learn learn the equipment side of things and and compartmental. Don't be it all at once. Like when you're in the booth, you're the actor. Then when you're out of the
Mhm.
booth, you're the editor director.
Mhm.
And then later on, you're the engineer. It's like
Right.
you try to do it all at once at the same time, and you're like thinking of how you're going to engineer something while you're doing an audition. Like I
Mm.
probably lost so many gigs because I was redirecting in my head, taking too many takes, and like you just act here
Mhm.
and then edit there and then direct.
Uh-huh.
It's like make them different. Become the person who has like 3 different personalities.
Yeah, yeah, or different, just wear the different hats. It's
Yeah,
all you. It's just switch jobs. Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent.
I spent too many years all doing it all at once.
Wow, that such powerful, calm, clear wisdom, which is what you've always kind of brought to it, and it's really cool to hear how powerfully the spark still abides. That it really is this thing that came to you, and you have just made it the heart source of one of the heart sources of your life,
Yeah.
and it's added to all the other heart sources of your life. So
One thing
yeah.
actually is funny. This thing, I came back. I went to the Fat Dog, and I was so excited that I had gone to the WB to do, and it was like small part, right? It's like
Mm.
just small parts in a game. But I was so excited, and I had no one to tell, and I was like, and Charlie Adler was sitting at the Fat Dog, and I had taken workshops with him, so we knew.
No way, that's destiny.
I know, and so I walk in and I say, "Oh, Charlie, hey," and he's, "Hey," and I said, "Oh, I'm just I'm on a high a little because I just worked on a," and I looked and it's Charlie Adler, so I'm like, "Oh, just it was that's stupid. It was just a little," and he goes, "No, if you're excited, you be excited.
Yeah.
Every game, every job," and like it stuck with me forever. And it was like, why was I not being as excited? I was trying to play down how I felt. And that's the whole, he's like, that's the reason we do this. He's like, no matter what job, you need to be that excited. It's like, you got to do that today. So like, it just, and I have been excited about almost every job ever since because he gave me permission. Not that I needed his permission, but I
Right,
needed it,
right, right.
like, you know?
Mm.
So I try
Right.
to impart that to folks as often as I can because it's like it helped me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it just and then it also seems like from everything you shared that trust that the universe is aspiring for you, is conspiring for you.
Totally.
Like, how many things did you just share in your story? Like, yep, and then there was legendary animation voice actor Charlie Adler, who you already knew because he was like, yeah, so trust it. Trust it. Yeah. Amazing. Well, Jay, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy VO day. And we'll look forward to having you at Ask the Sensei soon so we
Looking
can
forward
have
to it.
you answers others' questions. So we'll talk to
Absolutely.
you soon.
All
Yay.
right.
Thank
Bye.
you.